Let's talk about prison. Let's talk about prison. Do you believe somebody should spend 30 years in prison? Well, I know what you're probably saying right now. What do they do? I have to know what they do first. Okay, I'm glad you asked. That's an important question to ask, isn't it? And the whole point of the question is, surely some things are worthy of 30 years in prison, right? Assaults, rapes, murders, hurting kids. Surely some people do things that are worthy of 30 years in prison. Okay, all right. What if you shoplift a Butterfinger? Should you get 30 years in prison? Probably not. Unless you're a little bit draconian, I think we could all probably agree. Maybe a little harsh. Okay, so what am I saying here? Different degrees of punishment are obviously appropriate for different crimes. There are different levels of crimes. But I think you and I can both agree on something without a doubt. Punishment's necessary, right? It is necessary, and the punishment should match, the severity of the punishment should match the severity of the crime. That's nothing I've said here is exactly radical. I know you're thinking, yeah, Jesse, this is obvious. Okay, that brings me to something. Because it's been a day or two now where Durham gave his testimony before Congress. Durham, did the report. He did the report on all the malfeasance at the FBI, DOJ, and we found out they lied a million times. They've lied about basically everything. They made a bunch of things up. And then there's a part of the testimony that just jumped out at me. It jumped off the page at me. The part of the testimony where Durham talks about FBI agents coming up to him and, well, here's what he said.
I have had any number of FBI agents who I've worked with over the years. Some of them are retired, some are still in place, who have come to me and apologized for the manner in which that investigation was undertaken. This is not an easy fix. I mean, it's going to take time to rebuild the public's confidence in the institution. Rather, what is required is accountability.
Yeah. They apologized, and it's going to take time. It's take time and accountability. What? I'm sorry? They said sorry? Hey, sorry. Hey, we need some trust back. Oh, it'll take time. It's going to take some time. I'd love to use that excuse. I think I'll take the microphone off here and I'll grab my gun and I'll go down to the bank right now and I'll go stick a gun in somebody's face and steal all the money in the bank. And then when the cops come kicking my door to arrest me for robbing the bank, I'll say, hello, sorry, I apologized already. Look, I know you're mad. I know the bank's mad. I get it. Hey, guys, it's going to take time. All right, just give it some time. Give it some time. I'm sorry. Let's take time. What? What's happening right now at the Federal Bureau of Investigation will end the United States of America. I'm not being over the top. I'm not just doing a bit. What is happening right now with the Federal Bureau of Investigation turning itself into a secret state police agency that works as the enforcement arm and protection arm of the Democrats in this country, it will bring about a civil war. It will break this country in two and end the nation. And so when you do an investigation into the Federal Bureau of Investigation and you find out they've lied about everything on behalf of Democrats and they've lied about everything so they can go after Republicans, you're going to have to forgive me. Maybe it's time for me to say sorry, but sorry doesn't cut it. And you know what else doesn't cut it? It's going to take time. It's going to take time, guys. We just need some time. As if it's a boyfriend who offended his girlfriend in some way. I know you're mad, honey, but let's take some time. We'll take time together. People have to go to prison. Not gangbangers. Not bank robbers. Not this or that tax cheat. people with FBI badges on and security clearances have to go to prison. And I don't mean one guy. I don't mean some lackey you drag out of the mailroom and say, "Whoa, look, we found the culprit. We found Bob in a mailroom. This is the guy, send him to prison." I mean, public trials with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 FBI agents, maybe a group trial, standing there on television so the American public can watch secret state police agents be held accountable for their abuse of their authority, for their abuse of their power, for their abuse of the American people. I need to tell something to John Durham, to Republicans, to Democrats, to media members, FBI agents, everybody in the United States of America who watches I'm Right. I need to tell you something, and I don't care if this makes you mad. I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable. I don't really care if you don't believe me. What I'm about to tell you is 100% true. We will never save this country. It is impossible to save the United States of America unless government people go to prison for the things they've done to this nation. Government people. Empty out the federal penitentiaries for all I care and start putting government people in there. DOJ, IRS, FBI, NSA, CIA, politicians, Republican and Democrat. Just start a whole new wing for government people. Go to prison and go to prison for a long time. It will end the United States of America. Civil war is coming. Not tomorrow. I'm not being over the top. Eventually, it will get to the point where these secret state police agencies, they will force red states to form a coalition to protect themselves and their citizens against the federal government. And once that situation comes about, that will very likely spark a war where people die. It will end America. It will break apart the nation. So, Mr. Producer, would you please, with all that in mind, would you please, I know we just played it, would you play that soundbite of John Durham one more time, just so everybody can see just how far away the people within the system are from understanding what it's going to take to put Humpty Dumpty back together again?
I have had any number of FBI agents who I've worked with over the years. Some of them are retired, some are still in place, who have come to me and apologized for the manner in which that investigation was undertaken. This is not an easy fix. I mean, it's going to take time to rebuild the public's confidence in the institution. Rather, what is required is accountability.
They're sorry. And we need some time. We need time to heal and accountability. Kevin Kleinsmith lied to the FISA court so he could get a warrant to spy on an American citizen. Kevin Kleinsmith is not only not in prison, he's still practicing law. We are so far away from anything resembling accountability, it's staggering. You will know that the United States of America is back on track to being saved when government people, when FBI agents with badges are being marched off to Leavenworth. That's when you will know. Time. I thought about this yesterday when I saw Adam Schiff, one of the most wretched human beings that's ever walked the halls of Congress. And that's saying something, isn't it? Yesterday, he got censured.
Will Representative Schiff present himself in the well? By its adoption of House Resolution 521, the House has resolved that the House of Representatives censures Adam Schiff, representative of the 30th Congressional District of California, for misleading the American public and for conduct unbecoming of an elected member of the House of Representatives. That Representative Adam Schiff will be forthwith present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure.
Oh, man, I bet he's devastated. In fact, I bet after that censure, I bet Adam Schiff, I bet he went home and I bet he cried and I bet he said, boy, I feel so bad. I'm never going to do that again. Oh my gosh. Do you want to hear how sorry Adam Schiff was? Here's how sorry he was.
Do you have any regrets on how you handled the Russia issue? Obviously, the former president was never criminally implicated for anything involving Russia.
No, not at all. I think the investigation of his misconduct was very important. It ultimately led to his impeachment, which I was proud to lead. and it led to the first bipartisan vote to remove a president in U.S. history. I was also proud to serve on the January 6th committee, and I would do all of that again, and I would do it the same way.
Boy, he seems busted up about that censorship, doesn't he? Just one final note. Yesterday, Joe Biden was speaking with some people, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I can paraphrase this because you've heard him. He's repeated this line several times. He said something to the effect of, I always laugh when these guys talk about the tree of liberty and blood of patriots. You need an F-16 to take on the government. This is now a common line used by not just Joe Biden, Democrats across the spectrum, where they threaten military force against American citizens. That's the President of the United States of America who's more than once fantasized and visualized sending an American airstrike against his own citizens. In fact, I remember Joe Biden standing up in front of the entire country and calling half the country enemies of the state.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
You will know that this country can be saved and will be saved when people in this government, powerful people, elites, when they start going to prison. Until that, we're just painting the Titanic as it goes down. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right.
Are you tired of watching your beloved nation fall prey to the insidious grip of communism? The Anti-Communist Manifesto by Jesse Kelly is the ultimate guide to fighting back against this destructive force. Discover the shocking truth about communism infiltrating our education system, corporations, and even environmental movements. Unmask the true agenda behind groups like Antifa and Black Lives Matter and learn how to protect the United States from the most malicious enemy. With extensive documentation of past atrocities, you'll see the undeniable danger posed by this ideology. Arm yourself with knowledge and join the fight to preserve the American way of life. The Anti-Communist Manifesto, a new must-read book from Jesse Kelly. Get your copy today at jessekellybook.com or wherever books are sold.